Market update here on the 7th. Going to go ahead and do it 30 minutes early. If this ends up dropping, then that will be the 5th wave, but it's looking like this is going to be a B wave, in my opinion. It's just really choppy. The whole day has just been theta, premium getting killed. So it looks like the market makers sold a bunch of puts and a bunch of calls, and they're just going to chop it up until the end of the day. So first thing I want to say is yesterday I seemed kind of bearish. I still am really bearish, but I wanted to alert everybody of the possibility of a bullish move as well. Can't be one way in the market, and you've got to stay ready for anything. And so with that being said, let's go over the bullish scenario. So the bullish scenario is, let me get rid of all of these. Okay, bullish scenario is we get A, B, C. That's pretty set in stone. We know that. This right here is an ABC move. I'm not going to use that. It gets in the way. But then this right here, I've gone over this in past videos, but I'm going over again. Because another thing we got to look at is we are right on the 200. Let me see. No, we're right on it actually. So bears are having a hard time getting below that 200 in the 4-hour time frame. But if we look at this, you'll see that the 1.61 fib is still sitting here at 415. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then if we look at the bottom move to the X wave, we can clone that and just see we've actually broken outside of that. So I consider that pretty bearish, and that's why I'm still bearish overall. We didn't hold this channel right here, but I wanted to bring attention, there is still a possibility that we could get ABC, ABCX, that would be W, X, and then this whole move right here is A, this move is B, and then we get a C wave up here. And that would probably happen, that would probably take all the way to the end of the year. I don't think this is very likely. Just let me reiterate that I think this is not very likely, but I wanted to have a bullish scenario too. So this whole move right here would end up being A, B, we're working on the C wave right here, 5-wave move. This would end up being an expanded flat. So we would have a target of minimum 385.40. If you watched the video yesterday, that's my target for the 5-wave move anyway. So that would complete the overall B wave. And then we would get a ABC move higher. If we go from 385 to 415, that's probably going to take all the way to, New Year's, probably into early January. That's why I don't think it's very likely, because it's going to take a lot to get up there. And so with that being said, you already know the scenario that I laid out yesterday, the bearish scenario. So that's the bullish scenario. Bearish scenario is that we went like this, A, B, C, and then we are starting the move down, and we are trying to complete an overall first wave down here, second wave pullback, and then of course the big drop right there. This is what I think is more likely, and so I'm going to stick with that. And now if we zoom in here on the lower time frames, you'll see that I still have this labeled. If this is the top, 1, 2, and then third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, third wave right there. And we're working on a fourth wave right now. If we look at where that fourth wave needs to get outside of using our parallel lines, we're looking at it getting close to getting outside there. It hasn't quite done it yet. And I'm looking at this currently as more than likely A, B, and we're going to get a C wave up here. So this is going to be a long, drawn out move, except for my target is like 396, 396.40. That hits around tomorrow morning if that plays out. And then we would get a 5-wave move from there, which would take it to, again, 387 to 385, somewhere in there. So basically what I'm saying, no matter what scenario plays out next, the next move should be after we go to 396 or a little bit higher. That's what should happen. And after that, we're going to get two different possibilities. Two different possibilities are, let's just say we go to 386. Two different possibilities are either A, B, C to like 400, and that would be a second wave, or A, B, this would probably go higher, it'd probably go to like 400, B wave here, and then we get a C wave up to our target. So I don't think that this is as likely. I think the second wave pullback is more likely, but I wanted to bring that up. But the only thing you need to know is that if you have puts, you want to sell on the next move down. Because in either scenario, we're going to get a bounce to at least 400. So me personally, I'm waiting for the next move to unload the majority of my puts. I'll keep some just in case I'm wrong. But yeah, just get ready for that move down. So that's pretty much it. Look for 385, 387 after a bounce tomorrow morning, most likely. I'm just doing this video because I can just tell that they're not going to do anything today. The VIX moving higher. We're probably going to get a little bit of chop and then hopefully a move higher to get it down to 385. The dollar. Here's another thing that I can say that I'm not 100% sure about. I had this as being the bottom and a first wave, but I was also looking at the possibility of this being an expanded flat. If that's the possibility, or if that's what's going on, we have one. This could be an expanded flat. That would play into the 415 scenario. 3, 4, 5. This would end up being A, B, C. It actually hit perfectly for an expanded flat. It's a little bit higher than almost the 1.23 fib. So that's a possibility. Or we're looking at it like 4, 5. This looked like an impulsive move, but it could be a B wave too. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We should know in the next couple of days if this is an expanded flat because we've already made a move down. And so if it is an expanded flat, we're going to get that. So we'll probably get a little pop up here for the final move down in SPY. And if it is the start of the first wave, we'd get first, probably second, something like that, and then third, fourth, fifth. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on those. Tesla. I sold some puts on Tesla because it's dropped from 200 to 173. And I'm pretty confident that SPY is getting close to the bottom, maybe 2% lower. So I sold some 170 puts for the 16th. So I'm expecting even like a little bounce to be fine with me. I'm expecting this to let's zoom in a little bit more. Just in the short term, you can see this is like not a impulsive move. So it's looking like maybe A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe a little bit lower in Tesla as well, but I think it's nearing its bottom, and we're going to get a bounce in that, and potentially, I think there's a good chance this goes like this. If we get the same move in SPY going to 415. But even if we don't, it's still going to go most likely come to like 185, something like that, pull back, and then it would go lower. So that's why I sold puts in Tesla. I think it should bounce soon. And I also looked at the options chain when I would sell puts, and I saw 170 puts has a lot of put open interest. And so I think that's a pretty good wall size for selling puts there. And so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm expecting at least a small bounce in Tesla. Let's look at Apple. Apple. I think Apple actually supports, to be honest, I think it supports the 415 move more than likely, because I'm looking at this as A, B, and then C right here. So there's a lot of conflicting charts right now, and so that's why I wanted to make a bullish scenario too. So we'll see what happens with that. But then this also could be 1, 2. We're working on 3. That doesn't look as likely, but we'll have to see on Apple. I just think that this corrective move, that's either going to be the top or we're going to get A, B, C. So this whole thing would be A, B, and then C out here. So kind of with the 415 move, that makes the most sense. But if we're looking at the other possibility of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Apple kind of follows the same thing as the other charts. A lot of, I guess, a lot of like conflicting views on different charts. So let's look at Microsoft now. I'm going to go over some other charts too that I'm trading. Microsoft is same thing as SPY. I mean, I'm looking at this as at least a top, possibly a top. So a same scenario as SPY, or we're looking at it as a, and then this is the first wave. So we'll see on Microsoft the exact same thing. I don't know how many people like U.S. Steel, but I'm trading that stock right now. I'm in some puts. I got some $27 puts for February 17th. What I'm looking at, I'm getting into demand zones a little bit more. I learned how to draw demand zones more. I don't remember exactly what time frame this was. I should have labeled it, but this is weekly supply right here. I know this is a pretty big demand zone. I think this might be in the daily time frame. Let's look at maybe the weekly as well. But basically, when it hits a supply zone, you want to be selling or shorting. And so I've already drawn this out, and I've had this for a while, this ABC pattern, because I think this is overall A and this is overall B. And then I'm looking for this to make a first wave down here to a demand zone. So that'd be a pretty big move. Be 27 down to like 20.50 or 21. Bounce back up here to like 25, and then 3, 4. And monthly demand is down here at 10 to 7. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but if you look at this whole chart, it's basically a head and shoulders. We got shoulders, head, shoulder, down here. So I have $27 puts. It's kind of another way I'm playing the market right now, just for a couple months out, because I'm betting on the fact that we're going to get a pretty big drop in SPY, regardless if it goes to 415 or not. So just wanted to bring that one up. This also helps me take tabs on where we're at in the market. And since we're very close to the top, and we might have already hit it today, I think that plays well into the scenario of this being a first wave and we're getting a second wave pullback. So we'll see on that, but if you want to trade that, it's a pretty good area to start loading up on some puts. I think that's it for now. Just watch the dollar tomorrow. We'll see which pattern plays out, and we'll get a good idea. Once we get the breakout either way, or we know which way it's going, it's going to make it so much easier to trade. Either way, look for SPY to come down and then bounce to a minimum of 400. We're looking at 387 to 385, but it could just come down here past 391.65 to make a fifth wave as well. Because there also is this right here. If it breaks that, it's probably going to come down here and hit 385. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe for more updates. And let me know any tickers that you want me to look at. And I'll try to fit them into some of my videos that I do every day. Have a good night.